Got at her bachelorette party, so I vanished quietly before the wedding and what? Hello everyone. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now let's begin the video. Using a throwaway for obvious reasons, with certain specifics modified to preserve anonymity. So, my got completely wasted and humiliated at her bachelorette party, so I quietly disappeared before our wedding. What happened next blew everyone away. I'm Jake, a 32-year-old guy, and I was supposed to tie the knot last weekend with my Lily, who's 29. We'd been together for 3 years, living together most of that time, and I really thought she was the one. Our relationship was solid, or so I believed. Lily went on her bachelorette trip to Miami with 7 of her friends, just 2 weekends before the wedding. I wasn't worried at all. We trusted each other completely. I assumed they'd have a few drinks, hit the clubs, maybe see a male stripper, typical bachelorette stuff. I even dropped her off at the airport, kissed her goodbye, told her to have fun. While she was gone, I hung out with my buddies, finalized wedding plans, and picked up my tux. Everything seemed normal. She texted me during her trip, saying how much fun they were having, how much she missed me, the usual. She returned Sunday night looking tired but happy, saying they had a blast but she was relieved to be home. Then Wednesday night, just 3 days before the wedding, I got a text from an unknown number. The message was, "You should see what you did at her bachelorette party. She's not who you think she is." Attached was a video. I almost deleted it thinking it was spam or some scam, but something made me open it. What I saw shattered me. It was Lily with 2 guys in what appeared to be a hotel room doing things to her. She wasn't drunk or out of her mind. She was actively participating and encouraging them. At one point she looked at the camera, smiled, and said, "What happens in Miami stays in Miami, right?" Then laughed. I watched the entire 3-minute, 42-second video, and it ended my relationship and the future I'd dreamed of. I felt sick to my stomach. I did. Confront her right away. I needed some time to process. I spent that night in our spare bedroom pretending I wasn't feeling well. The next morning, while she was at her final dress fitting, I called my best man, Tony, and showed him the video. He was just as stunned as I was. I needed someone else to confirm what I was seeing. "What are you going to do?" he asked. I told him, "I'm not getting married." I spent Thursday packing some essentials while she was out with her mom. I left her a note that read, "I know what happened in Miami. The wedding is off." I left my key and her engagement ring on top of it. I moved into Tony's place temporarily and turned off my phone. I couldn't deal with the storm of emotions coming my way. When I turned it back on Saturday morning, which was supposed to be our wedding day, I had 47 missed calls and over 60 texts from Lily, her family, and some mutual friends. Her messages ranged from confusion, "Where are you?" to panic, "Please call me," to admissions, "I made a terrible mistake, let me explain," to anger, "You couldn't face me," and begging, "I'll do anything to fix this." Her parents called too, furious that I'd abandoned their daughter, then confused when they learned why. Apparently Lily finally told them after failing to reach me. I sent a mass message to all the invited guests saying, "The wedding's canceled due to unforeseen circumstances. Sorry for the inconvenience." Then I messaged Lily directly, "There's nothing to discuss, it's over." It's been a week now and I've moved out, gotten a new apartment, and started separating our lives. I blocked Lily everywhere, but she keeps finding ways to contact me. She claims it was a stupid drunk mistake and that it didn't mean anything, that she was caught up in the moment, influenced by peer pressure from her friends. But I saw the video, she wasn't that drunk. She knew exactly what she was doing. Yesterday, her cousin, who wasn't at the bachelorette party, reached out to me. She said Lily was a wreck, barely eating, crying constantly, and begged me to at least talk to her. I said no. Maybe I should confronted her directly, but I couldn't bear to see her knowing what she did. The thought of standing at the altar promising fidelity when she had already broken that trust was simply too much. Some people think I was too harsh just walking away, but how can you come back from something like this? How could I ever trust her again? The woman I loved betrayed me in the worst possible way just days before our wedding. The pain and shame are overwhelming. I don't know what's next. I'm just taking things day by day. There's no going back. Thanks for all the support and advice on my last post. It's helped me more than I can say. A lot has happened since then. First, I found out who sent me the video. It was the girlfriend of one of the guys Lily was with. Turns out he'd been bragging about it and she found the video on his phone. She's pretty upset about it. After some social media digging, I identified Lily and saw her post, so I reached out anonymously to thank her. Honestly, ungrateful of me, but I wanted to know the truth. Lily is still reaching out, though. She showed up at my new apartment crying, begging for a chance to explain. I let her come in because I was tired of her causing scenes in the hallway. Her explanation was typical. I was drunk. It was just physical. It didn't mean anything. I love you. It was a mistake. Same old excuses cheaters use, but what was more revealing was what really happened. According to Lily, they had all gone out to a club and her friends had encouraged her to have one last fling. She admitted the guys weren't random. They were men she'd met the night before and had hung out with all weekend. She swore it was just a one-time thing, but then she broke down and said she made out with one of the guys the night before she left. The more she talked, the clearer it got. It wasn't just a spontaneous drunken mistake. There was flirting, planning, and repeated deliberate choices over several days. The worst part, some of her bridesmaids not only knew about it but filmed what was happening. These women were supposed to stand beside us at the wedding, my so-called friends. When I pointed this out, she got defensive, saying, "It's normal to have a final fling before getting married. Lots of people do it." That's when I lost it. Normal, I snapped. You think betraying someone you claim to love is normal? Participating in a threesome a week before our wedding on camera, that's normal to you? She started crying even harder, accusing me of being cruel and unforgiving, saying if I really loved her, I'd understand it was a mistake and try to work things out. I couldn't help but laugh. If you really loved me, I said, you wouldn't have fed two guys at your bachelorette party. She left after that, but not before dropping a chilling comment. You'll regret throwing everything away over one mistake. It didn't sound like remorse. It sounded like a threat. Sure enough, now she's spreading stories that I was controlling and emotionally abusive, which is complete nonsense. She's playing the victim, saying I abandoned her without giving her a chance to explain, and that I'm punishing her for one mistake. Some mutual friends are even on her side. Financially, things are a mess. We're fighting over who pays what for the wedding costs. Her parents paid most deposits, but many vendors had final payments due just before the wedding, and those came from our joint account. She's demanding I reimburse her half since I canceled, but I refused. I'm not about to pay for a wedding that never happened because she cheated. I've spoken to a lawyer about the house we were trying to buy, which, thankfully, hadn't closed yet. We were supposed to sign after the honeymoon. The lawyer says I'm in the clear because we weren't married, but it's a hassle. The social fallout has been just as bad. Lily's bridesmaids have been spreading a twisted version of what happened, portraying me as some sort of monster who abandoned his over a drunken kiss. They conveniently leave out the threesome part. When I confront some friends, they say I should forgive her or that I was controlling. It's infuriating. The worst was her cousin, a woman who originally reached out, posting online about how devastated Lily was and how I threw away a perfect relationship over one mistake. One mistake. But that mistake involved two guys on camera less than a week before our wedding. How is that normal? Meanwhile, I've been focusing on myself. I've started working out, reconnecting with old friends I drifted away from, and even planning a solo trip to Colorado, taking 2 weeks off work to go hiking. I need these days away to clear my head. I've also been packing up our apartment. Lily still hasn't collected most of her stuff. Every time I find her sweater, her favorite coffee mug, a book of hers, each one feels like a small punch in the gut. We shared 5 years, not all bad years, there were good memories too. And that makes it all so painful, realizing the person I loved and trusted never really existed. A friend told me I might dodged a bullet, that if she's capable of this before marriage, she probably would cheated during it too. They're probably right, but it still hurts. I keep replaying the signs I missed, red flags I ignored, moments I should seen coming. I try to remember if there were any hints, but honestly I can't find any. She seemed as invested as I was. When asked if I regret not confronting her directly, honestly, I don't. After seeing that video, I was in shock, had no idea how I felt or what to say. Leaving gave me space to think, so I take it. One day at a time. Some days are better, others hit me hard. I still wake up for a brief second forgetting everything, then the truth crashes down and the pain is fresh again. But it's gradually getting easier. I'll update if something big happens. Hopefully this chapter is closing. 2 weeks later, I really didn't think I'd post again, but a lot has changed, and I feel like I owe an update. First, I finally found out who sent the video. Turns out it was the girlfriend of the guy Lily slept with. He'd been bragging about it and she found the video on his phone. She was pretty upset about it. I did some digging through social media and managed to identify Lily. That's how I found out she's actually struggling. Her cousin, who isn't at the Bachelorette, reached out and said Lily's a mess, hardly eating, crying all the time. She begged me to talk to her, but I said no. I know I should have confronted her myself, but I just couldn't bear the thought of seeing her, knowing what she did. She showed up at my new place crying, saying she wanted to explain. I let her in because I was tired of her causing scenes outside. Her explanation: same tired lines, I was drunk. It was just physical, I love you, it was a mistake. Typical cheat excuses. But then she finally told me what really went down. According to her, they were all out at a club and her friends pressured her into one last fling. She said the guys weren't random, they were guys she'd met that weekend, hanging out with her all along. She insisted it was just that time, but then she broke down and admitted she'd made out with one of them the night before she left. The more she talked, the clearer it became. This wasn't just a drunken slip-up. It was flirting, planning, deliberate choices made over several days. And some of her bridesmaids, they not only knew, they encouraged it, even filmed it. Women who were supposed to be standing with us. When I told her how wrong that was, she just said, "That's normal before marriage, people do it." That's when I lost it. Normal, I yelled. You think cheating on you're with two men on camera is normal? She started crying again, saying I was being cruel and that if I loved her, I'd understand it was a mistake and forgive her. I told her, you fed two guys at your bachelorette party, that's not normal. She left, but not before dropping a cold statement. You'll regret throwing all of this away because of one mistake. It didn't sound like remorse, more like a threat. Sure enough, now she's accusing me of being controlling and emotionally abusive, which is completely false. She's painting herself as the victim, claiming I abandoned her without giving her a chance, and that I'm punishing her for one mistake. Some mutual friends are actually taking her side. Financial chaos, too. We're fighting over who owes what. Her parents paid most of the deposits, but many vendors had final payments scheduled just before the wedding, and those came from our joint account. She demands I pay her back her half because I canceled. Hell no. I'm not paying for a wedding that didn't happen because she cheated. I spoke to a lawyer about the house we were trying to buy. Thankfully, it hadn't closed yet. We were supposed to sign after the honeymoon. The lawyer says I should be okay because we weren't married yet, but it's still a mess. The social damage is just as intense. Lily's bridesmaids are spreading lies, depicting me as a monster who ditched his over a drunken kiss. They omit the part about the threesome. When I push back, some say I should forgive or that I was controlling. It's infuriating. The worst. Lily's cousin, who originally reached out, posted online about how devastated Lily is and how I ruined a perfect relationship over one mistake. But that mistake involved two men recorded on camera just days before our wedding. How's that normal? In the meantime, I've been focusing on me. I started an exercise routine, reconnected with friends I'd lost touch with, and plan to go on a solo trip, 2 weeks in Colorado. I need time away to clear my head. I've been packing our apartment too. Lily still hasn't taken most of her stuff. Every sweater, book, coffee mug I find, each one feels like a stab in my chest. We spent 5 years together. Not all bad, but these memories now hurt more than ever. Realizing that the woman I loved and trusted wasn't who I thought. She was as crushing. Someone told me I might dodged a huge bullet, that if she's capable of this before marriage, she'd cheat during it too. Maybe they're right, but that doesn't make it any easier. I replay every moment, every red flag I ignored, trying to see if I missed signs. Honestly, I can't find anything. She seemed just as committed as I was. When asked if I regret not confronting her, initially I don't. Those first days after the video, shock kept me frozen. I was overwhelmed. Leaving her gave me space to think clearly, so I just take it one day at a time. Some days are better, others still hit me hard. I wake up, forget for a moment, then reality hits, pain fresh again. Slowly it's getting easier. I'll post if anything big happens. Honestly, I didn't expect to update again so soon, but so much has changed. First, I learned who sent me that video. It was the girlfriend of the guy Lily slept with. He'd been bragging, and she found the footage on his phone. She was pretty upset, and I appreciated her reaching out. I did some social media sleuthing and figured out Lily's real story. She's struggling. Her sister told me Lily's a mess. She barely eats, cries all the time. She begged me to talk to her, but I said no. I couldn't bring myself to see her, knowing what she'd done. Then she came knocking at my new apartment, crying and begging for a chance to explain. I let her in because I was sick of her causing scenes outside. Her story: same tired lines. I was drunk. It was just physical. I love you. It was a mistake. But finally she admitted what really happened. She said they were all at a club and her friends pressured her into one last fling. The guys weren't strangers. They'd met the night before and hung out all weekend. She insisted it was just once, but then she broke down and said she made out with one of them the night before she left. And from what I gathered, this wasn't some drunk slip-up. It was flirting, planning, repeated choices over a few days. A couple of her bridesmaids knew and even filmed it. These women were supposed to stand by me. When I told her how messed up that was, she said, "It's normal to have a final fling before marriage. Lots of people do it." That's when I lost it. Normal. I snapped. "You think cheating on you with two guys on camera is normal?" She burst into tears, saying I was being cruel and that she loved me and it was all just a mistake. I laughed. "If you loved me," I said, "you wouldn't have fed two guys at your bachelor party." She left, but before going, she warned me, "You'll regret tossing everything away over one mistake." Like it was a guilt trip. Now she's spreading stories that I was controlling and abusive, even though none of that is true. She plays herself as the victim, claiming I abandoned her without giving her a chance. Some friends believe her or say I should forgive her, which just infuriates me. Financially, it's a nightmare. We're fighting over who covers what. Her parents paid for most of the deposits, but final payments from vendors were due just before the wedding, all coming from our joint account. She demands I pay her half since I canceled, but I refuse. Not paying for a wedding. That never happened because she cheated. I won't do it. I talked to a lawyer about the house we almost bought. It hadn't gone through yet. The lawyer says I should be okay because we weren't married, but it's a headache. The social fallout, just as bad. Lily's bridesmaids are spreading lies, painting me as the villain who abandoned his over some drunken kiss. They omit the threesome part. Some friends have told me I should forgive or that I was controlling. It's so frustrating. The worst: Lily's cousin, who initially contacted me, posted online about how devastated Lily was and how I threw away a perfect relationship over one mistake. But that mistake involved two guys on camera and days before our wedding. How can anyone say that's normal? Meanwhile, I focus on my recovery. I've started working out again, reconnected with old friends, and am planning a solo trip, 2 weeks in Colorado. I need that time to clear my head. I've been packing up our apartment. Lily still hasn't taken most of her stuff. Every sweater, book, coffee mug, each one is a little wound. We shared 5 years, and even though it ended this way, there were good moments. That makes this whole thing so much harder. Someone told me I was lucky, probably dodged a huge bullet, that if she's capable of this before marriage, she'd probably cheat during it too. They're probably right, but damn, it still hurts. I keep replaying the signs I missed, trying to remember if I saw the red flags. Honestly, I can't find any. She really seemed as invested as I was. When people ask if I regret not confronting her, I honestly don't. Those first days after seeing the video, I was frozen. I couldn't process anything. Leaving her was what gave me the space to think straight. I take it one day at a time. Some days I feel better, others hit me hard. I still wake up momentarily confused about everything, then reality crashes down and it hurts again. but it gets easier. I'll update if anything shifts. Honestly, I didn't plan to update, but a few things have happened that felt worth sharing. First, I found out who leaked the video. It was the girlfriend of the guy Lily was with. He'd been bragging about it and she found it on his phone. She was upset, and I appreciate her reaching out. I also did some social media detective work and found Lily's real profile. She's in a tough place. Her sister told me Lily's barely eating, crying all the time. She begged me to talk, but I refused. I just couldn't face her knowing her betrayal. But last week she appeared at my new place crying and pleading. I let her in because I was tired of her causing scenes outside. Her explanation, same old, I was drunk, it was just physical, I love you, it was a mistake. But then she finally told me the truth. She said they were at a club and her friends pressured her into one last fling. She admitted the guys weren't random, they'd met her that weekend and she'd hung out with them. She claimed it was just once, but then she broke down, saying she made out with one of them the night before she left. From everything she said, it wasn't just a careless drunk mistake. It was flirting, planning, repeated choices over the weekend. And some of her bridesmaids knew and even filmed it. These women were supposed to stand with us. When I pointed this out, she told me it's normal before marriage, everyone does it. That broke me. Normal, I yelled. You think cheating on camera with two guys is normal? She cried harder, told me I was cruel, and said if I loved her I'd forgive her and try to repair things. I just laughed. If you loved me, I said, you wouldn't have fed those guys at your bachelor party. She left, but before she did, she said something chilling. You'll regret losing everything over one mistake. Like a threat. Now she tells everyone I was controlling and abusive, which is just not true. She's playing the victim, acting like I left her without a chance. Some mutual friends are actually siding with her. Financially, it's a disaster. We're fighting over who pays what. Her parents paid most of the deposits, but the final payments to vendors came right before the wedding, and those came out of our joint account. She demands I pay her half because I canceled, but I told her to forget it. I'm not paying for a wedding that didn't happen because she cheated. I spoke to a lawyer about the house. We had almost bought, it hadn't closed yet, so I might be in the clear. Still, it's a headache. The social damage, just as bad. Lily's bridesmaids are spreading lies, painting me as the guy who ditched his over some drunken kiss, leaving out the part about the threesome. When I push back, some say I should forgive her, that I was controlling. I get so mad. The worst. Lily's cousin, the one who first reached out, posted online claiming Lily was devastated, and that I'd thrown away a perfect relationship over one mistake. The mistake involved two men caught on camera days before our wedding. How's that normal? Meanwhile, I'm trying to heal. I started working out again, reconnected with old friends I'd drifted from, and I've even booked a solo trip, a couple of weeks hiking in Colorado to get away and think. I've been packing up our apartment. Lily still hasn't collected most of her things. Every sweater, book, coffee mug, each one's like a little dagger in my heart. We spent 5 years together, not all bad, but right now, those memories hurt. A friend said I probably dodged a huge bullet, that if she's capable of this before marriage, she'd do it during. Maybe they're right, but that doesn't change how I feel. I keep trying to spot signs I missed, red flags I ignored. Honestly, I found none. She seemed just as committed as me. Do I regret not confronting her? No. Those first days after seeing that video, I was in shock, paralyzed. Leaving was the only way to give myself the clarity I needed. So I take it slowly, one day at a time. Some days are better, others still hit me hard. I wake up sometimes, momentarily forgetting everything, then reality hits and it's brand new pain. But I think it's getting easier. I'll let you know if anything significant happens. Honestly, I never thought I'd write an update, but here we are. A lot has changed, and I feel I owe an explanation. First, I learned who leaked the video. Turns out, it was the girlfriend of the guy Lily was with. He'd been bragging about it, and she found the footage on his phone. She was angry about it, and I appreciate her helping me find out. I also did some detective work on social media and found Lily's real account. She's in a really tough spot. Her sister told me Lily's barely eating, crying all the time, just a complete wreck. She begged me to talk, but I said no. I couldn't face her, not after everything. But then last week she showed up at my apartment door, crying and desperate. I let her in because I was tired of her causing scenes outside. Her story, same usual, I was drunk. It was just physical, I love you, it was a mistake. But she finally admitted what really happened. She said her friends, and the guys were all out at a club, and her friends pressured her into one last fling. She insisted she only did it once, but then she broke down, saying she made out with one of them the night before leaving. From what I hear, it wasn't just a drunken slip-up. It was flirting, planning, repeated decisions over several days. Some of her bridesmaids knew and even filmed everything. These women were supposed to be there for us. When I pointed that out, she said, "It's normal," and I lost it. Normal? I snapped. Cheating on camera with two guys, is that normal? She burst into tears again, said I was cruel and that if I truly loved her, I'd forgive and rebuild. I told her, "You fed two guys at your bachelor party, that's not normal." She left, but before that she warned me, "You'll regret throwing it all away over one mistake." That was a threat. Now she's spreading nonsense, lies about me being controlling and abusive, which isn't true. She's playing victim, acting like I ghosted her without giving her a chance. Some mutual friends have actually started to see the truth. Financial mess. You better believe it. We're fighting about who paid what. Her parents covered most of the deposits, but the final bills to the vendors were due right before the wedding, coming out of our joint account. She demands I pay her half because I canceled, but I won't. I'm not paying for a wedding that never happened because she cheated. I talked to a lawyer about the house. We hadn't signed yet, so I think I'm good legally, but it's a headache. The social fallout has been just as intense. Lily's bridesmaids are spreading their version of events, painting me as some monster who left his bride over a drunken kiss, conveniently leaving out the threesome. When I push back, some say I should forgive her or that I was controlling. It's maddening. The worst, her cousin, who initially reached out, posted online about how devastated Lily is and how I threw away a perfect love over a mistake. A mistake involving two men caught on camera just days before the wedding. How is that normal? In the meantime, I'm working on myself. Started working out again, reconnected with old friends, and booked a 2-week solo hike in Colorado. Needed to get away from all this chaos. I've been packing up our apartment too. Lily still hasn't taken most of her belongings, and every sweater, book, coffee mug I find feels like a punch to the gut. We shared 5 years. I won't forget that, but right now, it just hurts. Someone told me I might dodged a huge disaster, that if she's capable of something like this before marriage, she'd do it during. Maybe they're right, but that doesn't erase the pain. I keep trying to spot signs, red flags I ignored. Honestly, I see none. She seemed just as committed as I was. I regret not confronting her. No, not really. Those first days I was frozen with shock. I didn't know what to feel or say. Leaving gave me the space I needed. So I go slow, take one day at a time. Some days are better, others still hit hard. I wake up sometimes, momentarily forgetting everything, then reality crashes in and the hurt's fresh all over again. But I believe I'm getting stronger. I'll update if anything else happens. And honestly, I never thought I'd post again, but a few things happened that felt like closing this chapter. First, I found out who leaked the video. It was the boyfriend of the man Lily was with. He'd been bragging about it. She found the footage, and I guess she was upset. I did some social media research and tracked Lily down. She's really struggling. Her sister told me she's barely eating, crying constantly. She begged me to talk, but I held off. I couldn't face her after everything. Then last week she shows up at my new apartment, crying, pleading. I let her in because I was tired of her causing scenes outside. Her explanation, same worn-out lines. I was drunk. It was just physical. I love you. It was a mistake. But she finally admitted what really happened. She said her friends and the guys pressured her at the club into one last fling. She swore she only did it once, but then she broke down, saying she made out with one of the guys the night before leaving. It wasn't just a drunken slip-up. It was flirting, planning, repeated decisions over the weekend. Some of her bridesmaids knew, even filmed it. These women were supposed to be part of our wedding. When I pointed out how messed up that was, she said, "It's normal." I lost it. Normal? I shouted. "Cheating on camera with two guys, that's what you call normal." She cried harder, told me I was cruel, and claimed I should forgive her if I loved her. I told her, "You fed 2 guys at your bachelor party. That's not normal." She left, but before departing said something chilling. "You'll regret losing everything because of one mistake." It felt like a threat. Now she's spreading stories that I was controlling and abusive, completely false. She's acting like the victim, saying I abandoned her without a chance, punishing her for a single mistake. Some mutual friends even believe her. Financially, things are a nightmare still. We're fighting about costs. Her parents paid most deposits, but the vendors' final bills were due right before the wedding, paid from our joint account. She demands I reimburse her half since I canceled, but I refuse. I'm not paying for a wedding that never happened because she cheated. I've spoken to a lawyer about the house, which we hadn't yet signed for, so I think I'm fine legally, but it's messy. The social damage, just as bad. Lily's bridesmaids are spreading lies, painting me as the bad guy who left his bride because of a drunken kiss, leaving out the threesome. When I defend myself, some tell me I should forgive and forget or call me controlling. It's infuriating. The worst. Her cousin, the one who first reached out, made a post online about how devastated Lily is and how I ruined everything over one mistake. But the mistake involved 2 men on camera days before our wedding. How can that be normal? Meanwhile, I've been working on healing. Started working out, reconnected with old friends, and I booked this 2-week hiking trip in Colorado to step away from the chaos. I've been packing our apartment too. Lily still hasn't taken most of her stuff. Every sweater, book, mug, each one feels like a punch in the gut. We had 5 years, some good, some bad, but all those memories now feel tainted. I've been told I'm lucky. Maybe I dodged a train wreck. That if she's capable of this before marriage, she'd do it during. Possibly right, but that doesn't take away the pain. I replay every sign I missed, wondering how I didn't see it. Honestly, there were none. She was as committed as me. Do I regret not confronting her? No, not really. The shock of seeing that video left me frozen, unable to act. Leaving was the only way I could think straight. I'm taking things slow day by day. Some days I feel better, others I'm still hurting. I wake up, momentarily forgetting everything, only for reality to hit me anew. But I believe I'm healing. I'll keep you posted if anything changes. And I guess that's it. I never thought I'd be sharing all this, but I feel like I finally got closure. The kid in the story, the betrayal, the fallout, everything. First, I found out who leaked the video. It was the girlfriend of the guy Lily was with. Turns out he'd been boasting about it. She saw the video on his phone. She was furious, and I appreciated her reaching out and showing me the truth. After some digging, I found Lily's real social media profile. She's been a mess. Her sister told me she's barely eating, crying all day. She begged me to forgive her, but I stayed firm. Last week, she showed up at my door sobbing, asking for a chance. I let her in because I was tired of her causing a scene outside. She explained everything with her usual lines, but then she finally admitted the truth. Her friends and the guys had pressured her at the club. She swore it was just once, but then she broke down, saying she made out with one of them the night before she left. From what I gather, it wasn't a mistake. It was flirting, planning, and repeated choices over multiple days. Some of her bridesmaids knew and even filmed it. They were supposed to be part of our wedding. I pointed out how wrong that was, and she said, "It's normal." And I lost it. Normal. I yelled, "Cheating, on camera with 2 guys, that's not normal." She cried more, accusing me of cruelty, saying I should forgive her. I told her, "You fed 2 guys at your bachelor party, that's not normal either." She left, but as she did, she warned me I'd regret this forever, that I'd lose everything. That sounded like a threat. Now she's claiming I was controlling and abusive, completely false. She's playing the victim, saying I abandoned her without a chance and punishing her for one mistake. Some mutual friends side with her now. Financial mess. Oh yeah, we're fighting over who covers what. Her parents paid for deposits, but some final bills came just before the wedding, paid from our account. She demands I pay her half because I canceled. I refuse. I'm not paying for a wedding that never happened because she cheated. I got a lawyer, and thankfully, since we weren't married, I might be in the clear on the house. But it's a headache. The social damage, just as bad. Her bridesmaids are spreading lies, painted me as the villain who left his bride over a drunken kiss, leaving out the threesome. When I push back, some say I should forgive and move on. It's infuriating. The worst. Her cousin, who initially reached out, posted online about how Lily is devastated and how I ruined everything over one mistake, an awful, twisted story. That mistake involved two guys caught on camera mere days before the wedding. How is that normal? Meanwhile, I focus on myself. Started working out again, reconnected with some old friends, and I've planned a 2-week solo hiking trip in Colorado just to clear my head. I've also been packing, and every item of Lily's I find, her sweaters, books, coffee mugs, feels like a punch to the gut. 5 years, some good, some bad, but I've realized now just how much trust I lost. Some say I'm lucky to have caught it early, maybe. If she's capable of this before marriage, she likely would cheated during. I don't take that as comfort. It still hurts. I keep replaying the signs I missed, trying to see if I overlooked anything, but honestly, I see no red flags. She seemed as invested as I was. Do I regret not confronting her directly? No, those early days I was frozen with shock, unable to process. Leaving gave me the space I needed to think clearly, so I'm taking it one day at a time. Some days feel stronger than others, but I'm slowly healing. I'll post again if something new happens. That's it. I honestly didn't expect to share all this, but here we are. I feel like I finally got some closure. The story, at least for now, is over. Julia made her choices, and now she's living with the consequences. I've made peace with what happened and am focused on building a new life. Funny thing, I'm grateful for that anonymous video leak. Without it, I might be married to her now, unaware of who she truly was. Maybe raising another man's kid, who knows? Instead, I'm free. Free to find someone trustworthy and honest. To everyone dealing with similar betrayal, hang in there. It's hard, but the pain fades. Life goes on, and sometimes you discover that the worst setbacks can lead to better beginnings. Thanks for sticking with me through this story. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you have a great day.